Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Mary, and this is a place where we embrace the mess, the stress, and all the rest with love and laughter and our very best. Today I want to talk to you about something that I know we all feel at some point in our journey, and that is jealousy. That is the energy of competition because we all go through it. And I feel like I'm in a place right now to talk about it because I've made peace with it. Jealousy and competition has always been this feeling, this state of consciousness that I have come back to time and time again. I think it's time to talk about it now because I have lived it, I have overcome it, and I want to help you if this is something that you continuously feel in your own path. Even when we're on the spiritual path, even when we're self-aware, even when we know better, it still creeps in. The fear, the jealousy, the envy, the greed, the competition. Especially if you have Aries or Capricorn in your chart, maybe even Leo, any of the fire signs really, maybe this comes up more in your life than say other signs. I'm an Aries moon. I grew up playing sports. I got more attention when I was winning. And so can you think about how that would make a young girl feel that they can only receive love when they're winning at something? The people were only paying attention to them when they are scoring, when people only valued you for your achievements. It does a lot to a person, and it trickles on to your adult life, and then into your relationships, and then in your career, and then in your friendships, and then even in your finances. I feel like this is one of those that most people have a hard time talking about, but I feel so open with this. And if you've been feeling this lately, I want you to take a deep breath because you're not alone. And I've been there. We all have. It's that little twinge when you see someone thriving in watching a friend or get that thing that you've always been wanting or working so hard for and feeling happy for them, but also kind of crushed inside. And then comes the guilt, right? The guilt. Because shouldn't we be happy for the people that we love? Shouldn't we have this by now? Shouldn't we be able to just celebrate others without feeling like we're falling behind? I hear you and I feel you. And I want to have a real honest conversation today about what jealousy actually is, why it keeps showing up, and how we can use it. Not as something to suppress or feel ashamed of, but as a tool for deeper healing and connection. So let's start with the why, right? Why does jealousy feel so real? Why that no matter how much inner work that we do, does it still show up? I'm feeling a little spicy today, a little more passionate than usual, so don't mind my hand gestures and my shimmies and a lot of bodily movements because I need to get this energy out. And I want you to feel it in your body so that we can release it together. So at its core, jealousy is a belief in lack, right? It's this deeply ingrained story that says there's not enough to go around. And that if someone else is thriving, then I'm not. There's less for me. And if they're shining, then it must mean I'm dim. And this is where the energy of competition sneaks in because when we believe in lack, we start thinking that we have to fight for our place or prove ourselves or win something. Even in spirituality, yes. Even here, we feel like we have to catch up to where we think we should be. And that feeling of not enough, that's the real wound underneath the jealousy. But here's what I want you to hear, and it's that jealousy does not exist in love, that there is no competition in love, that there is no scarcity in the divine. And you must be wondering like, oh my God, here she goes again, talking about love, talking about the divine. Well, if you have truly lived in unconditional love, you will start to understand that that's really all there is in this world. That creation is a freaking miracle. And even though we live in a world of polarity, we experience the bad and the good, the highs and the lows. It is all within the divine. I call it God. You may call it something else. Probably talking about the same thing. So yeah, there's no competition in love, right? The universe isn't looking down at you and ranking you. Your timing is your timing. And what's meant for you, it's never going to pass you by. You cannot miss it. You think you're going to miss it because that's what the mind is telling you. But ultimately, not really the most reliable source to follow, right? The mind. We have all these crazy thoughts. Are they all true? No. Probably none of them are true, right? If you really do that inner work, you start to realize that your thoughts, they're unreal. They don't make sense. You give your attention to it, and that's what makes them real. Some thoughts are helpful, some thoughts are unhelpful. You decide. And I know it's easier to say, but harder to embody, but this is what this channel is all about. We're here to embody and not just intellectualize things. So let's talk about how to shift this when jealousy actually hits, because in the moment, it can feel very real and almost impossible to get out of. So the reality of jealousy and why it hurts so much. I want to pause for a second and acknowledge how real jealousy feels, because this isn't just about the random comparison that we might have. Sometimes jealousy hits in a way that really hurts. Maybe you've been working hard on something and then you just see someone else effortlessly get it. Maybe it's seeing a friend find deep love when you're feeling down, when you're feeling alone. Maybe it's watching something grow spiritually in a way that you feel like you're behind or you feel like you're not there yet. And in those moments, it's so easy to spiral. Right? The thoughts start running. Why them and not me? Victim consciousness. What am I doing wrong? Will I ever get there? These are all true questions that we ask ourselves. Maybe we're not aware in the heat of the moment, but this is something that we all process through as humans. And if you're anything like me, the guilt comes after. And it does not feel good because we want to be better than this, right? People who are often competitive are people who always are probably the most self-critical. We want to do better. We want to be better. And so we're always almost competing with ourselves all of the time. We want to be the person that celebrates without feeling the ache inside. No one just wakes up and goes, I'm going to feel jealous today. I'm going to be extra competitive today. It is not a conscious decision that we make. It is something that just comes up automatically from our thoughts, and then the emotion comes right after based on what we are believing about our thoughts. And so if I'm thinking I'm not good enough and I'm believing that, I'm going to feel like shit because I'm giving my attention to that thought. So let me take some pressure off of you right now. Jealousy is not a sign that you're failing spiritually. It's a sign that something inside of you is asking for healing. And that's a beautiful thing. We need moments like this to be better. Because if we're perfect all the time, then why the heck are we here for? So let's get practical, because we're humans. We have to be practical about things. What do we actually do when jealousy comes up? And this is a proven method that I have used continuously time and time again until I have dissolved all of my jealous feelings, all of my competitive nature down to a point where I can actually love it and use it in a healthy manner. So I'm not just saying this to say it. You know, we have all the information on the internet to get things done and to achieve something that you really want done. But I'm coming from lived experience, okay? Like, we want to be as authentic and real as possible with ourselves. So what do we do when jealousy comes up in the heat of the moment? Number one, you pause and name it. Spirituality for Beginners 101. You pause and you name it. First things first, you don't push it away, right? You don't judge it. You just notice it. You go, oh, there's jealousy. There's that feeling of separation again. Because naming it takes the charge out of it. You're acknowledging it. You're seeing it for what it is. And then step two, you're going to ask, what is this showing me? That is a very powerful question. What is this situation showing me? What is this person showing me? What is this emotion showing me? Instead of spiraling, which you are allowed to do. I spiraled too. But for next time, instead of spiraling, turn inward. Ask, what is this jealousy actually pointing to, right? Sometimes it's showing you that you have this desire that you haven't fully owned yet. Other times it's revealing an old fear that's ready to be healed. Number three, I get emotional sometimes talking about this because it is absolutely powerful. You bless the person that you're jealous of. You're probably like, what the hell do you mean, Mary? What are you talking about? I am blessing the person that I'm jealous of. But that's the thing. The ego wants you to keep that separation real. It wants to keep you and that person apart. It does not want you to connect. It wants you to feel like you're better than them. And that's what we want to avoid, right? We want connection. We don't want separation. So you bless the person that you're jealous of. And at first, it's going to feel forced. It's going to feel fake. And oftentimes, it's going to feel impossible. But when I start to feel jealous, I stop and say, I say a little prayer, and you could use your own words for this, but I say, may they be blessed, and may I celebrate their gifts, knowing that my own are just as powerful. And this rewires your energy, right? It takes you out of competition and into connection. Number 4 is see their light as a mirror. This one is huge because whatever you admire or envy in someone else, it's reflecting something inside of you. Their success isn't separate from you. It's showing you what's possible. So actually, we need people to be jealous of to learn. So you go like this and you say, thank you, sensei, bow down for showing me what needs to be healed. Without you, I would not know. I would not be aware. So instead of thinking, they have what I don't, try asking, what are they showing me about myself? And number 5, which is always a good idea, you ground yourself back in gratitude. Gratitude shifts everything. It moves us from lack to abundance. And when jealousy creeps in, you pause and ask, what is already good in my life, right? Anchor yourself in that truth. What do I already have that I've always prayed for? And when you can stay in that state of gratitude, then all you see are beauty and miracles in your life, in creation, outside, inside. One of my favorite teachings in A Course in Miracles, one of my favorite spiritual books that I always continuously repeat and bring up in my podcast and in these videos is that saying I think it was a text or the lesson, but it says that when you meet anyone, remember that it is a holy encounter. As you see him, you will see yourself. As you see your brother, you will see yourself. And this means that every time we feel jealousy or comparison, it's actually a holy moment, right? It's a moment to choose love over fear. It's a moment to see someone else's light and remember that it is also ours. Because here's the truth, and this is something that you'll come to understand deeper and deeper as you continue to evolve, that there is no them and me. We are one, and their success does not take away from mine. Their light does not dim mine, because in divine reality, we rise together. We elevate each other. So here's what I want you to take away from this. Jealousy is not your enemy. It's a signpost, right? It's showing you something that you're ready to heal. Number 2 is instead of letting it spiral into self-doubt, use it as a mirror. Ask, what is this teaching me? Number 3 is shift from competition to connection by blessing the people that you feel jealous toward. I promise, when you allow love to transmute these feelings of envy and greed and jealousy and competition, you will unlock a deep level of freedom that you've never experienced before. And why the heck would you not want that? Would you consciously choose to feel jealous over freedom? Absolutely not. And remember that what's meant for you will never pass you. The universe does not run out of love, success, or abundance, right? It is all around. There's enough to go around. And society tells you to believe that there isn't. And we have to do our due diligence to rewire that story and part of our brain. And most importantly, be kind to yourself. You are human. It's going to be messy, but it's also the most beautiful experience you could ever have. It is the only experience you're having. You are growing, and every single emotion, every single feeling, even the uncomfortable ones, are here to guide you home to yourself. So next time jealousy comes up, you take a freaking deep breath and you say thank you to it for showing you something deeper. And then you choose love, because that is more helpful than choosing separation and fear. I think we can all agree to that. Okay, thank you so much. That was it. Thank you for being here, for listening to me blab till the very end. I love you and I see you, and I'm so grateful we're on this journey together. It makes me feel like I'm not alone, and I know I'm not. I know I'm not. Whatever I'm feeling, I know people in the world are feeling too, and that's why I want to share this message, and I hope that it truly served you. If you are curious more about my life, please follow me on Instagram. I also have an amazing podcast where I share the teachings that I have lived and embodied in my own life. That's the Proce podcast, and you can binge them. Honestly, they're not very long. Most of them are about like 10 to 15 to 20 minutes long. And this is my passion. This is what I love to do. And so thank you so much for being a part of my mission. I truly appreciate you, and I wish you the most fantastic week. Namaste.